Caitlin Clark might be about to flip the entire WNBA on its head. Again, after nearly 2 months out with a painful groin injury, the Fever's superstar is finally back on the practice court, and now the whispers are turning into roars. Is she targeting September 5th against the Chicago Sky for her jaw-dropping comeback? Fans are electrified, rivals are panicking, and the entire league knows one thing. If Clark steps back onto that floor, the playoff race will never be the same. Coach Stephanie White didn't hold back. Caitlin Clark isn't just rehabbing anymore, she's moving. White confirmed Clark went through team walkthroughs, light practices, and even some drills with her teammates. But here's the key. White says it's not enough to just see Clark jog or shoot jumpers. She needs to see her push through real contact, test her endurance, and hold up when fatigue sets in, because that's when injuries come back to bite. Think about that. Clark is known for playing full throttle, pulling logo threes like it's nothing, and breaking defenses with her gravity. That's not something you can fake. White made it clear it's going to take multiple practices and controlled scrimmages before anyone clears Clark for real action. But the mere fact she's on the floor again, that has Fever fans buzzing and rival players sweating bullets. The moment Caitlin Clark picked up a basketball again, the entire WNBA shifted. This isn't just about one rookie star getting healthy, it's about the balance of power in the league. Every headline, every ticket sale, every viral clip, Clark's name is stamped all over it. Without her, the WNBA has looked ordinary. Solid basketball, sure, but nothing that breaks through to the national spotlight. With her back, it's a completely different story. The Fever go from lottery-bound to dangerous overnight, and suddenly playoff races get flipped upside down. And don't think the league's biggest names aren't feeling the heat. Players like Angel Reese and A'ja Wilson, who've been throwing shade while Clark was sidelined, now face the very real possibility of her storming back and silencing them in one game. Even Commissioner Kathy Engelbert knows it. Clark back on the floor means higher ratings, packed arenas, and nonstop coverage. It's no exaggeration to say the entire league is in panic mode, because they know Clark doesn't just play the game. She runs it. When Caitlin Clark went down, it wasn't just Indiana's season that cracked. It was their identity. Without her gravity pulling defenders out to the logo, without her passing creating wide-open looks, the Fever's offense collapsed into chaos. Sophie Cunningham, injured. Chloe Bibby, injured. Sydney Colson and Erica Wheeler, out too. What was left on the court looked less like a professional playoff team and more like a patchwork pickup squad. Kelsey Mitchell was dropping 20 points a night just to keep Indiana afloat, but it still wasn't enough. Aaliyah Boston, last year's Rookie of the Year, suddenly had defenses collapsing on her with no space to breathe. The rhythm was gone, the flow was gone, and honestly, it didn't even look like Fever basketball anymore. Commentators compared it to YMCA ball, and they weren't wrong. Fans knew it, players knew it, and the standings reflected it. The Fever weren't just slipping, they were spiraling. And that's why Caitlin Clark's return doesn't feel optional. It feels absolutely necessary. Then it happened. The moment Fever fans had been waiting for finally hit the internet. A shaky phone clip from Shoot Around showed Caitlin Clark back in uniform, jogging up and down the court, firing jump shots, tossing passes to her teammates. It wasn't a full-speed scrimmage, but it didn't matter. The second those clips went live, social media exploded. Comment sections lit up like fireworks. Fans screaming, "She's back!" Rival fan bases panicking about what this meant for their playoff hopes, and memes flooding timelines with Clark's face pasted over superheroes and saviors. Even ESPN and Bleacher Report picked it up, running the footage on repeat. And here's the crazy part. Clark wasn't even cleared for full contact yet. She was just moving, warming up, testing her body. But for fans, that alone was like winning the lottery. After nearly 2 months of watching a broken Fever squad struggle night after night, those few minutes of video reignited hope across Indiana. Behind the scenes, league executives weren't cheering. They were sweating. They know exactly what this means. The WNBA without Caitlin Clark is just another league trying to get noticed. But with her back, suddenly it's must-watch basketball again. Now comes the million-dollar question. Should Caitlin Clark even come back this season? On one side, you've got the cautious voices saying absolutely not. They argue that groin injuries are tricky, they linger, and they flare up when you least expect it. If Clark rushes back and tweaks it again, she could be out not just for the playoffs, but for months into next season. And for a player who is literally the face of women's basketball right now, that could be catastrophic. But then there's the other side. The fans, the Fever organization, the TV networks, even the league office. To them, this season feels pointless without her. Ticket sales, sold-out arenas, viral highlight reels, they all live and die with Caitlin Clark. For Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, Clark isn't just a rookie. She's the golden ticket keeping sponsors and viewers locked in. And let's be honest, the WNBA's bottom line takes priority over long-term caution. That's where the debate gets messy. Do you protect Clark's career and risk missing the playoffs? Or do you unleash her now, knowing she instantly makes Indiana dangerous again? The truth is, neither option is safe. But everyone, from Fever fans to rival players, knows one thing. If Clark does come back, she won't ease her way in. She'll attack the game full throttle. And that, right there, is what terrifies the rest of the league. Let's be brutally honest here. Without Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever's playoff chances are basically hanging by a single thread. Every game has turned into survival mode, and even then, the losses are piling up. The Sparks hold tiebreakers. The Valkyries are breathing down their necks. The Mercury and Sky are hovering right in that same bubble zone. One or two more losses, and Indiana's season could evaporate overnight. That's why Clark's potential return isn't just about giving fans hope, it's about changing the entire playoff math. Imagine this. Indiana walks into a must-win game against the Sparks or the Valkyries with Clark back on the floor. Suddenly, everything shifts. Defenses can't collapse on Aaliyah Boston anymore because Clark's logo range stretches the floor like no other. Kelsey Mitchell doesn't have to play superhero every night, gassing herself out trying to keep the team in games. Instead, she can actually pick her spots and play to her strengths. It's not just about wins, it's about momentum. One signature Clark performance could flip the narrative of Indiana's entire season. A 20-point game with a few clutch threes? That instantly puts the Fever back into the playoff mix while crushing the hopes of rival teams fighting for the same spot. The Sparks know it, the Valkyries know it. Even the Mystics, clinging to life, know it. And let's not ignore the league office here. Do you really think Kathy Engelbert and the WNBA executives want their golden tickets sitting at home during the playoffs? Absolutely not. Playoff basketball without Caitlin Clark means fewer eyes, fewer headlines, and fewer dollars. But with her, every single Fever game becomes must-watch TV. And that's why Clark's comeback isn't just important, it could decide the future of the WNBA postseason. While Fever fans are praying for Caitlin Clark's comeback, there's another group watching nervously, her critics. For weeks, rival stars and coaches have had a field day while Clark sat sidelined. Angel Reese has built her entire rookie brand around being the anti-Clark, tossing shade at every opportunity. A'ja Wilson has dropped subtle comments that made her jealousy crystal clear. Even coaches like Cheryl Reeve have gone out of their way to dismiss Clark's impact. But here's the reality. If Clark comes back and starts hitting those logo threes again, all of that trash talk instantly evaporates. Imagine her pulling up from 30 feet against the Sparks, silencing a crowd, or threading a no-look dime to Aaliyah Boston for an easy bucket. Overnight, the story flips, and those same players who used her absence to boost their own spotlight will be right back in Clark's shadow. And it's not just players. The referees are under fire too. Fans haven't forgotten how often Clark was shoved, hacked, or even poked in the eye without calls earlier this season. If she's back, every single game will be under a microscope, every no-call replayed online within seconds. The league knows it. The refs know it. Clark's return doesn't just change the playoff race, it exposes everyone who thought they could brush her aside. Here's the bottom line. When Caitlin Clark is on the floor, the Fever are dangerous, the WNBA is on fire, and her critics have no place to hide. All signs are pointing to one game, one date, one moment, September 5th at home against the Chicago Sky. Why that game? For starters, it's circled on the calendar because of timing. It gives Clark just enough runway to get a few practices under her belt, shake off the rust, and test her endurance before being thrown straight into playoff-level basketball. It also falls at a crucial point in Indiana's schedule, late enough that every win matters, but not so late that it's meaningless. And let's be real, the WNBA knows how to build a spectacle. Clark's potential return on September 5th would be more than just another regular season matchup. It would be a primetime event. Fever fans would pack Gainbridge Fieldhouse like it's a championship game, networks would scramble to get cameras in place, and social media would detonate the second Clark checks in. For the Sky, who are fighting for their own playoff lives, it could turn into a nightmare. One Clark comeback performance, 20 points, a couple of logo threes, a clutch fourth-quarter dagger, and Chicago's postseason dreams might be over before they know it. That's why this date is so electrifying. It's not just about a return, it's about a statement. Caitlin Clark storming back onto the floor, not easing in quietly but lighting up the league when the pressure is highest. Make no mistake, Caitlin Clark's return isn't just about Indiana. It's about the entire WNBA. The last 2 months gave us a taste of what the league looks like without her. No viral highlights leading SportsCenter. No packed arenas selling out weeks in advance. No casual fans tuning in just to see what Clark would do next. The buzz was gone. Only the diehards were paying attention. Now imagine the opposite. The moment Clark steps back on the court, every network, every sponsor, every fan locked out of tickets is suddenly paying attention again. Ratings surge, jerseys fly off shelves, clips of her logo threes or fiery assists dominate social media. The WNBA transforms from background noise to must-watch television, all because of one player. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Rival players know it, and so does the league office. Angel Reese, A'ja Wilson, even veterans who resent how much spotlight Clark gets. They're about to watch that spotlight double the second she returns. Meanwhile, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and sponsors will be grinning ear to ear because their golden ticket is back at the perfect time to carry the postseason. Clark's return doesn't just boost Indiana's playoff hopes. It resets the narrative of the entire WNBA. With her, the league feels electric. Without her, it feels like just another season. And here's the truth. The Fever are walking a razor's edge. Bringing Caitlin Clark back now is the ultimate gamble. If she's fully ready, even at 80%, she could flip the entire playoff race upside down, torching defenses and proving her critics wrong in one swoop. But if she's not, if that groin flares up again, Indiana's season is over, and the risk to her long-term future becomes very real. But here's the thing. Clark isn't wired to play it safe. This is the same competitor who carried Iowa through March Madness, who thrives under pressure when the spotlight is blinding. Sitting on the sidelines, watching her teammates blow leads, is eating her alive. If she feels like she can go, she will go. And when she does, don't expect her to ease in. Expect her to storm the floor, to pull from the logo, to remind everyone why she's the face of this league. So now the countdown begins. Will September 5th against the Chicago Sky be the night she makes her grand return? Will she drag Indiana back into the playoffs and silence every critic who doubted her? Or will the risk be too high, forcing the Fever to wait even longer? One thing is certain, when Caitlin Clark plays, the world watches. And if she's truly back, the WNBA is about to feel an earthquake like never before. What do you think? Should the Fever unleash Clark now, or protect her future and shut her down? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you're excited for her comeback, and make sure to subscribe. Because when Clark returns, you won't want to miss a single second of it.